Yo, yo, yo. What is up? Epic Stream Man here, doing some stuff and junk. Yeah, there we go. That's what we want. Alright, get rid of the camera. Alright, we're gonna do some Watch Dogs modding. So we got camera tools mod, which we just added. Here's our Watch Dogs folder, the bin folder. So we moved camera tools files, which is just this folder and 2 files, into here. Now we have Ultimate Camera Tools mod added to the bin folder. Now let's go to our mod folder. See, we previously put a mod in here from our buddy Lannis. So let's move all this stuff here so we can go to main view. Let's do game only. We're not really streaming. Actually, let's zoom in so you can really see what we're doing. This should make it a little easier to see. So yeah, we got the camera tools files from camera tools zip. Threw them into our Watch Dogs games bin folder. So that should give us camera tools. Now we're going to check data 64, and we're going to reset this back to original patch files, which I've backed up here in my original shader files. So we're going to take all the modded files, which are these guys here. We don't need this config, and we don't need that. And we're just going to compress that into a zip file for backup. Then we'll get rid of them and we'll restore it back to normal. Restore it back to normal. What are these guys up to? Oh, they both look. Well, let me go back to wide. Working with these sexy MRFers, Ace and MiniAdam. I'm going to test out a mod for them. So we're going to show how to mod it here in a second. In fact, let me bring in their stuff here. How do I close this? So they sent me just some raw mod files. They sent me some vehicle XML files. Oh, let me go to Zoom again so you guys can see this shit. There we go. How do I get rid of this? I don't want to stop streaming. I just want to hide the window. Do it pop out? Sure. We'll do that. Cool. All right. And then we'll minimize it. Haha. All right, back to what I was doing. So they sent me some vehicle XML files, raw XML files that have to go into some libs and entity library, plus some other vehicle XML files. So some lighting stuff. So let me explain something. Just they sent me some raw XML files, which I know from modding that those need to go in something somewhere. There's a cool website here by our buddy Mr. Wesdanach or Wazdi. That's a little search tool, so you can plug in like the name of a file. I'm just doing the dot. I guess I could do .xml. Be specific. There you go. So that shows me that this file goes inside dynamic lighting prefab. That's where this file needs to go. If I click on that, you can see that file is a library, and it's just a lib file. This is the unencoded version of it with the XML, so the raw version of it. Our patch file won't have the raw version. It'll have an encoded version. We need to use give tools to unencode it. I'll show you that in a second. There's another website called FNV dump. So if I didn't know where that file was, I know where it is, but if I didn't know where that library, the dynamic lighting library, is supposed to go in my patch files, I could go to this site and look it up. Do a control find here. Hold on one sec. Control find, paste it in there, look, and bam, it goes under generated database generic. That's where most libraries go. So that's where we need to put this in our patch. But first, we need to restore our game back to original patch files. So that's what we're going to do. Like I said, I compressed these modded files, and we'll just call this Lance MP from Lannis's mod pack. Now I can go and delete those because I backed them up. These 5 files are what I backed up in that zip file right there. If I go in here, you'll see that same 5 files. So we don't need those. Now we're missing all those files, so we need to get those back from our original patch file. I'm going to go ahead and open this in a new window. And so these are my backed up shader objects. Just got to throw those back in there. Then we're going to open up the original patch files too in a new window. And there's our 4 patch. We got our patch files and our patch 1 files. So these are both just files that mods get thrown into. So now this should reset us back to the vanilla game, because we restored our original patch 1 and regular patch files and our original shader object files. So we're not using Lannis's modded or mod pack and modded files anymore. Right? We just restored back to our original. And this is the Steam version of the game, you can see right here. So let's go ahead and run the Steam version of the game. Let me go ahead and open up Steam. Where the heck is my Steam? There it is. All right. Now let's go to library. And if we go to Watch Dogs here, we should be able to play it. Ubisoft updated their terms of service. So it's still going through Uplay Connect, even though we're on Steam, because it's a Ubisoft game. And here we go. We got a Watch Dogs, and this should be the vanilla game now. But we just want to make sure it runs. I'm gonna throw you guys on widescreen really quick so you can see the whole thing as I see it. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and continue and just make sure it works. So this is just restored back to original or OG vanilla. And yeah, it works. It's
All right.
way
Now I can
zoomed
deal with
in.
Jordy's job. Some kind of driving contract, delivering a guy somewhere. This won't be a typical taxi service. The
Oh,
trick with these
this is
jobs
a
is
criminal.
avoiding the cops.
What the heck? Sorry, it zoomed in. I can fix that here in a second. Online hacking. I need to mod the game so I can run faster. There we go. We got him. I don't even know what this guy was doing. All right. So I'm playing in widescreen, so it's just going to look zoomed in. But thankfully, I loaded camera tools here so that we can go to configure and change the FOV multiplier. Let's go ahead and make it 1. Wait, let's go 1.3. Let's try 1.3.
Oh man, is that what I think it is? Oh,
There we go.
yeah, I feel sick.
There we go. Now let's go ahead and run. That looks pretty good. Sometimes when you have the FOV too high and you go to run, it looks really bad. But this isn't too bad. All right, so that's good. We got our vanilla game restored. We got camera tools installed so we can change the FOV multiplier because we're playing in widescreen. Let me actually change some options here. It is in borderless, okay. Undefined resolution, that's fine because we're in a resolution it doesn't understand. Temporal SMA, ultra. I forget what the best setting for this is. It's fine. Motion blur off, depth of field on. Water on high. I like water on high better than actually ultra. A lot of people agree. It just looks more realistic to me. Our FPS is high, which is why we're getting coat flapping. We're getting like 120 FPS right now. So that's working. Let me go ahead and go back to main. So I'm playing in ultra wide, but right now I'm only capturing the center of the screen for you guys. In fact, we'll go game only, sorry. Alright, but anyway, we're good. We're good to mod some files. So we're back to vanilla. Alright, so now let's figure out how to mod some files. Let's go back to zoomed view so you guys can see a little bit better. So we figured out what library we need to edit, the dynamic lighting thing. Let's actually go to here and download the files. How do I download? Download. Did it download? I don't see download. Download. Where's it? It's not. It's not opening my browser like it should. Let's check our downloads folder. Make sure it didn't show up there. Nope, I don't see anything new there. Let's go to our mods folder. That's typically where I download files from. Nope, don't see anything new there. All right. Is it because I'm in streamer mode, maybe? All right, let me stop streaming for a second here. Sorry, this is more a Discord problem. update anyway. Cancel. Let me leave the voice channel. I'm just updating Discord real quick. Let's disable streamer mode. And let's go back here. And see if we can grab a file now. What the hell? Why is Discord not letting me download it? All right, let's try this. Let's go to Discord on the web. Discord.gg/me. Open Discord. All right. There we go. All right. Let's create, well, let's go to, I usually keep loose files in a loose folder. Let's go ahead and create a new folder here. I'm going to call it R for reflections. All right, so we're going to save that there. We're going to save that there. Save that there. Should be 6 files in all. So some of these are going into that lighting library, and some of these we're going to have to do entity library. What was the last one I downloaded? Low intensity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This should be the last one. 6. All right. So yeah, the dynamic lighting, and then the rest of them go into vehicle dynamic presets, and then entity library. So there's 3 different files we're going to have to edit here. I don't remember this one. Hold on. Let me look this one up. Libraries. Default. Oh, I guess, yeah. All right, so there's 2 libraries and the entity library thing we need to edit. All right, so how do we do that? So let's do one thing at a time here. Let's go find our files. So this is our Watchdog Steam folder. We'll need to unpack our patch files and put them in there. So we're gonna need our tools. So let's go to mod tools. So the main thing we're gonna need is FC bastards, and that's gonna be for the entity library, and then give tools, and that's gonna be for the regular libraries. So, man, I got a lot of chunk in here. Okay. So one thing at a time, let's unpack our patch files. So patch files this is where mods go into. And in this case, we have two sets. We have our regular patch files, which is patch.dat, patch.pat, and our patch1 files. Oh yeah, and let me go back to Discord. And let's go back into voice chat, and let's go ahead and share my screen again. Okay. All right. All right. We had voice chat. Cool. All right. So let's unpack these patch files because that's where all mods go. When the game loads, it reads in these sets of patch files. There's two sets. We need to use this program here called gib unpack, actually, because we're unpacking them. So you can take any, you can either take the fat or the dat, just one of them. Don't take both, and just throw it on top of unpack. You'll see a screen come up real quick and then disappear. But when you do that, wait, what happened? We got an error message or something. All right, there it goes. When we do that, you'll get a folder where your patch files are. So here's my patch files called patch unpacked. So these are all the loose files. And when we were looking before, the libraries are under generated databases generic. So if I go to here, there should be a folder called generated database and generic. And this is where all objects and library files are. So we'll need to deal with those in a second. Let's also unpack patch1 files, which if we go back to our data Win64 folder, we'll drag over one of the patch1 files and unpack that. The thing to know about patch1 files is anything in here, you notice it created its own patch1 unpack folder now. These are all the loose files now that are packed in that, so we can look at them. We want to go in here, generate a database generic, and see if anything we want is in here, because anything in patch1 takes precedence over regular patch files. So if we put something in here that also exists in patch, the regular patch files, the patch1 will take precedence or override it. All right, get a drink here real quick. So we may just put our mod in here just to test it out, because it's going to override it anyway. And we'll keep the original in the regular patch file. So we probably won't even touch the regular patch file, but it will be good to have it just to grab the original, the vanilla one. So let's do that. Let's find the dynamic lighting prefab lib. So we're in our unpacked patch files, going on under generated database generic, and we're going to find dynamic lighting prefab. I believe that's the one we want. Let's see. Dynamic lighting prefab. Yep. So what I'm going to do then is, since we have unpacked patch1 and we're under the same folder, generated database generic, and then Hello, hello. And let's see. Yep. And we're in the same folder here, generated database generic of our patch files. I'm just going to copy this over here. If we were to pack this up right now, this one would override this one because it's in patch 1, and patch 1 takes priority. So whatever we do to this one, it'll override this one. Right now, that won't do anything because we haven't changed this one yet. So let's go ahead and change this one. So we want to use another tool, another gib tool to unpack this or unencode it so we can actually get to the files underneath that. So not only have we unpacked our patch and patch 1 files, we need to unencode our library file. So for that, we want to use a program called convert binary objects under gib tools. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw that, and you should see it's going to generate a file list file, which should be just named the library plus .xml at the end. If you open this up, this is just going to be a list of all the files that are inside the folder it created. And this list is what's used to repack this or recompile it or re-encode it. So if you change something in here, like you get rid of one of these files or you add new files, you also have to add it to this list in here. So keep that in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and close that for now. So we need to find a file under here that matches some of the modded files we had. Now, where did those go? That's going to be under our loose files under R. All right, so here's the ones we downloaded from our buddies. And let's see. It's probably going to be all the vehicle taillight ones. Let's see what they said. All right. All right. They said vehicle taillights, blah, 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 go in the dynamic. Default taillight, blah, 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 goes in this other file. And then the agile and the muscles go under entity library. So let's see. Agile and muscles. So these are going to go entity library. The vehicle taillights, these three are going to need to go in here. So what I can do is actually just take these three and they should overwrite things right here. So let's go ahead and just drag these over to here and say copy. And then it should say, if we did this right, that we're replacing 3 files. Bam. So we just took their modded ones and replaced them here. And remember, this is inside this folder that was created when we unpacked this library. So what we're going to do is repack this. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this library. And now we're left with just its file list or its XML file and the folder. And this folder now has the 3 new modded files in it. All right. So now what we need to do is re-encode it or repack that. So I'm going to go to my gib tools. And what you want to do is you take the file list and you drag that back over to convert binary object. And that should recreate your library file. Bam. So now this should have the 3 changed files that we put in here all packed back up or encoded back up into here. So I can go ahead and get rid of these. So now this is our modded version in patch 1 unpacked, which should override the regular patch 1. So that takes care of 3 of our 6 files that are modded. The other library is vehicle dynamic light preset. So we need to find that in our regular patch files. Vehicle dynamic light preset. I think that's the one. So we're going to copy this one over to patch 1. And we're going to go back to Gib Tools. And we're going to convert that with convert binary objects. And it's going to build its new, its file list and its folder of files. Now we need to take the modded files, the loose modded files, and the default one, I believe, is what goes in there. And it should say that we're replacing a single file. There you go. Now, since we're replacing files, note that that file already should be in the file list, right? Should already be in here. In fact, we can find it really quick if we just take the name of it, go into here, do a Control F, and paste that in there and find. Yeah, and you'll see we didn't have to add this to the file list because it was already a file that existed there. Well, oh, sorry, that's the bike. There's the regular one. Oh, shit. So that already existed in there. We didn't need to add it. If it was a brand new file, we'd need to add an entry just like this one. We could copy another entry, put the name in here. But we don't have to do nothing because that file already existed there. And that was this library that we need to replace. So we're going to delete it. And we're going to, I just resorted there. We're going to take the file list, the XML file, and use that to recompile it or encode it or whatever you want to call it. We just need to go to Gib Tools, drag and drop that back to convert binary objects, and that should create our modded library file. So we can now get rid of these things that were used to, the loose files that were used to build it. So there, now we have the modded dynamic lighting prefab, and now we have the modded vehicle dynamic lighting preset. So that takes care of 4 of the files. The hard one is going to be entity library. So these need to go into entity library. Entity library is a bit trickier. It requires a different program to deal with. And we could use this site here to find entity library. Well, fuck it, let's do that anyway. I mean, I already know where it is, but I'll show you guys. So let me just do a quick search here for entity library. And we can see there's a couple. The one we want is actually this one, the RT one, under Windy City generated. So let's go find that. So if we go back to our regular patch file that's unpacked, and we go to worlds Windy City generated, we don't have an entity library there. We might have to create one. Hold on. Windy combine moved. Hold on. Yeah, these are the DLC ones. We don't want that. Exclusive. Yeah, we definitely want under Windy City generated. So that may not exist in the regular patch files, is what that's telling me. Let's check patch 1 actually. So they're not in the unpacked patch files. Windy City generated. That's just where combine move and depth load is. And it's not there. So let's go to our patch 1 files actually. And go to, no, there's no, it's not there either. So we're going to have to create one. Let's do this. I'm going to copy the worlds folder from patch, the regular patch files unpacked, and paste it into patch 1. and I'm going to delete everything under here. So we have the folders created that we need, worlds, Windy City generated, so it knows where to put that file. And then entity library, what we're going to actually do is grab from the modding toolkit, because modding toolkit should have a hybrid entity library. There it is. So the hybrid entity library is used to prevent crashes from modded patch files. So this is it's basically a combined entity library from the DLC and the regular game, from my understanding. In fact, this might say more about it. There's the only thing. Let me hold on. View word wrap. Where's word wrap? Oh, there it is. All right, sorry. This entity library contains all of the data from the main game and Bad Blood combined into one file. This is necessary because if you put an entity library into your patch, both games will load that file. That will break one of the games if your base game, if you base your mod off of the original FCB file. There's only one thing that I'm aware of. In order for the main game to work properly, I had to remove. There's this prop entity that is used in Bad Blood that some pedestrians hold. Normally, the main game ignores it since the entity library does not contain that prop. However, when this is added, it will attempt to load this prop and crash because the model is missing. Thankfully, removing this entity doesn't cause any issues with Bad Blood itself, aside from being one less object that you can see in the city. So, yeah, if you don't quite understand that, basically it keeps the game from crashing by using this hybrid entity library between the main game and the DLC, is my understanding. So they have a nice little info there. Again, this is part of mod tools under its files. So what we're going to do is grab that, throw that under patch 1 worlds Windy City generated, because that's the folders it should exist under. So this will be our modded version of that. And again, I found that under the modding toolkit, and under files, there's a hybrid entity library. So we need to get some modded files into that. So to do that, we're going to go back to Gib Tools. Well, not Gib Tools, sorry. We're going to use FC Bastards. So these files are specially encoded on like libs and other binaries. It's in FCB format. There's a special tool called FC Bastards, which will unencode that. So what we're going to do is take that file, drag it to here, and you should see this. And what that did is it created, again, a folder and another XML file. This XML file, again, is just a list of what's inside that folder. So if we go in here, we should find what we need to replace. So let's go back to our loose files that we're modding. And we're going to take these here and copy them over to here, and it should replace some files. And it did. It replaced 2 files. That's exactly what we're going to say. So yeah, now the only thing we need to do is recreate that. So if we go back to here, we'll delete our original, and then we'll use FC Bastards to recreate it by pulling that file list over. And you'll see ripping through all the things and re-encode it. Now it's going to put this under a bin folder. I don't know why, but we're just going to cut that out, paste it here, and that's our new file. And then we can get rid of all of this stuff because we don't need it anymore. That was extra. So now we have our modded entity library with the 2 entries we need in that. And under generated database generic, we have our modded dynamic lighting and our vehicle dynamic lighting presets with the modded files in that. So we didn't change anything in the patch files. We only changed stuff in patch 1 because we know patch 1 will take precedence and override those same files in patch. So I don't even need to touch the stuff. All we need to do is use this. So I'm going to go ahead and delete patch 1 here and leave this as just vanilla patch, same as what's in here. The game won't see these folders. These are our unpacked versions of it, so we can just leave those here for now. Doesn't matter. What we are going to do is repack our patch 1 file. So I need to go back to Gib Tools, and this time we're going to use pack instead of unpack. So all I'm going to do is take patch 1 unpack and drag it over to pack. And that should create brand new patch files here. It's going to name it whatever the folder's named. We want to rename these to just patch1.dat and .fat. Like that. So bam, now we have modified patch 1. All the stuff that these guys gave me to test out, we just threw into patch 1 basically in their respective libraries and FCB file. Hope that all makes sense. Let's see if it works. So some of those files that we modded in here in patch 1 also exist in patch, but they'll get overridden by patch 1 because that's just how the system works. So this is a good way to test stuff. We could have just deleted it out of patch, but then we would have had to repack patch. So the way we did it, we didn't even have to repack patch. I only unpacked it to get the original files so we could modify them and put them in patch 1, if that makes sense. So let's see if this all works. So now we have our vanilla OG patch file and our patch 1 vanilla OG, but with modified files in it that should override the stuff in here. And we can leave our, like I said, our junk unpacked versions of them here and our zip files in here and all that, our backups. None of that's going to get read by the game because it has a list of files when it starts up that it's going to read in, all these DAT files and FAT files. Now we just need to start the game back up. So let's go to here. And what is this supposed to do? This mod, we should have talked about that earlier. Oh, let me get out of my Zoom screen for you guys. So this mod is supposed to change reflections on taillights for cars so that they actually reflect. So let's see if that works.
All right, now I can deal
Wow.
with Jordy's job.
This guy's still
driving
running.
contract, delivering a guy somewhere. This won't be a typical taxi service. The trick with these jobs is avoiding the cops.
We got him. All right, so taillights. We should probably make it rain and make it nighttime. Well, it is raining. It's hard to see because it's daytime. But it's not nighttime, so we don't really see taillights. So, hold on, I gotta change the stupid music thing. Audio, music. I don't know why it defaults to autoplay music when in car. I don't like that. All right, so we could go to sleep and change the time, but because we have ultimate camera tools, we can just go to world, change the time of day to like, I don't know, 1700 hours. Make it nighttime. And it's already raining, but we'll go to storm and make it really raining. And you can see reflections of the Owl Motel sign here. So what this mod does, I believe they edit the specular maps, and now you can see the light of the cars coming off the taillights here. And if we go up to other cars here, we can see some here. So this one kind of sucks. They're still working on cars. They haven't got all the cars yet. So this car obviously doesn't really match. Let's get up to some other cars here and see. So yeah, they changed the default one. I think that's what these cars are using, are the default. They only changed some specific cars. Let's see if we can find any of them. In fact, let's just go ahead and order one. Car on demand. Let's see. I haven't unlocked all the cars yet, so I should use a 100% save file probably. Muscle. Okay, there's a Sonoris. They said to test that one, I believe. So let's go ahead and test that one. Where the hell did they put our car? Oh, sorry. So you'll notice front headlights reflect in the rain. You can kind of see that there, but taillights never really did. You can see one taillight going over there. So that's what they're trying to mod and fix in the game, is make it so taillights have specular mapping, I believe it's called, so that they can reflect on shiny surfaces. There's other shiny surfaces, not when it's not raining, but that's the easiest. All right, so this is more of a full reflection. Let me change the camera view so we can go further back. I'd say it works, but I wouldn't call it perfect. It's kind of blown out. Kind of blown out. Let's go to, do we have another view? I don't have hybrid vehicle cams. We can go to, I forget what the keys are. Hold on one second. We can go to free cam. What is free cam? Home. So yeah, that gives you a better view of it. So yeah, it's working, but I would say it needs some work still because of the way it's just blaring out. All right. So what was another car they wanted me to test? Hold on one second. Let's go back to Discord. No, not that Discord. Hello, hello.
Oh my god. Are you playing Watch Dogs?
Never heard of it. What's Watch Dogs? No,
You're not playing Watch Dogs?
I'm totally playing Watch Dogs.
You have 227 modified hours and some Watch Dogs?
What? Yes.
Look at that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually testing some mods out that somebody sent me to add reflections to taillights on cars. Ooh. It sort of works. Still needs some work. Yeah, normally in the game you only had like reflections on headlights, like you see here if you're watching my stream.
I watched your stream.
You should just click on me, and it should show you.
Now, why would I watch your stream though?
What's that?
Why would I watch your stream though? You know what I mean?
You don't have to, but you won't know what I'm talking about.
I'm watching it.
Sweet. But yeah, so you can now see the taillights reflect off the ground, which you couldn't be before. But still needs some work, it looks like to me. That's the default one, it looks like on that car. It's only got like one red light hanging off of that. Looks kind of weird. The car I'm in has two, but it's still... kind of blown out, I think.
I don't have Watch Dogs installed.
Well, you should get it installed and then like run mods on it.
Yeah, I did. I am a modder.
Sweet. Joker in the house. What's up, man?
Yo,
You should
what's
download
good?
mud.exe.
I'm testing some mods out for some peeps to add tail light reflections.
All right.
On-
So Watch
Since they're gonna
Dogs
make
isn't
a
dead.
third Watch Dogs.
So Watch Dogs modding isn't dead after all. Well,
Not totally, no. Alright, I was trying to see what other cars they wanted me to test.
because I'm so close to losing hope to like having any more good mods for this game.
Vespid and Zuma, okay.
So
Oh no, people are still working on mods. In fact, I can't wait for Para the Lines to come out with Fall of the Windy City too. That's gonna be awesome.
well, that's the thing. I don't think that shit's coming
think
out
Watch-
like
Do you think
anytime
Watch Dogs
soon.
3 is gonna come out?
Wait, fuck no. Oh, no. No. No, no. No. No, no. No.
Why not?
Dude, Ubisoft has outright told everyone that, hey, Watch Dogs is completely fucking dead. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I think they're literally not even going to try to release a Watch Dogs movie.
It's starting to look that way because the director in December was like, dude, we got it. We're working on a trailer. It'll be out soon. And now it's almost end of January and nothing. And then you had all the shakeup happen with Ubisoft in between all that. So
Yeah, like I genuinely think that it's just going to be a tax write-off.
It may be, which kind of sucks. Vespid. Shit, I don't have the money for the Vespid. I need to load a 100% save file so I can test these cars out. Where is the Zoom?
What if we all collectively just buy Ubisoft? I reckon if we each put in $1.
Well, no. I don't even think if we buy Ubisoft, here's what I think. I think someone can buy the Watch Dogs IP.
Yeah.
I think someone can easily just.
That's what I'm hoping. And I'm hoping that's the reason why they didn't mention it as part of any of their creative houses, internal creative houses, is because they're already working on a deal to outsource it to somebody else. That would be my biggest hope.
Yeah, I genuinely think that something like that is going to happen. Because I feel like that it would be stupid of Ubisoft not to sell their IP because they already consider the fucking IP dead to them.
Yeah.
And literally, the only other money that they can make off of this property is either one, maybe get the movie to go out and it potentially being good, which sadly, game movies are hit or miss. And with that, or maybe just like selling their IP, which I think, because I think if they do sell their IP, depending who it is, it's either just going to be, like, most definitely, it's not going to continue Ubisoft's games. It definitely would be a reboot. So.
A reboot would be cool, but I'd love even just a remaster at this point, man.
Oh, fuck no. They're not remastering any of the games.
You don't think so?
No, not even the slightest. I don't think they will. I genuinely almost know for a fact that they won't.
You don't think that's what they have another company working on already?
No, because like I said, literally Ubisoft said it themselves. Watch Dogs is dead to them. I don't think that they want to touch Watch Dogs.
Well, they never said that. People assume that because it's not part of their creative houses.
Well, then again, too, like people who work at Ubisoft said, yeah.
Yeah, I guess that was the kind of underlying inside baseball that they were trying to talk about, was that people still appreciate it and like it, but nobody's like actively working on it internally. So.
Yeah, and plus they don't have the money to do that.
Fuck Clara, be honest.
What?
What?
Would you fuck Clara?
No, fuck no.
She's dead. So yeah, I probably would.
Necrophilia is always an option. What the
D-
fuck?
dude, what the fuck?
Just seeing if you're all paying attention.
But yeah, literally, I don't even think. Okay, now here's the thing. You can't outright okay, because I don't think because like the only way I think a new Watch Dogs game could come out is if outright Ubisoft sells like the entire IP. But of course, I know for a fact, and I'm just saying this. I know for a fact there's no inch in my mind that I think that they are either going to remaster or continue the storyline. I think they're just going to end the storyline where it is.
I like that idea, but
I think they could go to Japan and start a storyline there.
no, you know
Just
what
like
I
off the
reckon?
comic.
I still don't think. I still don't think that's possible. And even if that was possible, if they're just gonna go to Japan, then what's the point of continuing the storyline of the other games?
You're right. It doesn't really have to be a continuation per se. I guess it could be.
Yeah, and like there's very little and like I know I sound like a negative bag right here, but trust me, I want to be okay. I want to believe that like there is a chance that they could like continue the games. But Watch Dogs Legion has not only fucked up the storyline so bad, if by chance, by God, that they do sell the IP to another company, I am almost confident that like company would just outright just reboot the entire series. Hell, I don't even think that Aiden Pierce would even be like the main character anymore. And again, too, they might. I hope and I pray that they will.
I hope they put in John Watchdogs. The main character.
John Watchdogs. And hell, like
Arthur Morgan.
Yeah. What was it? The Heart of America. I don't fucking know. But The Heart of America. But overall, yeah, I don't think that any company would, or any like development studio would have any type of excuse to continue Watch Dogs' storyline, because and even if they were to go to Japan, like you said, and they would focus on another character, then that's also another reason why. Because not only would this not be made by Ubisoft, but also just outright, completely just like be a full-on story. So you might as well consider a reboot too. But yeah, and Aiden Pierce is a wonderful, magnificent character, but I don't think that they would.
You fucked my grandma.
What? What about Watch Dogs, the movie, the video game?
Okay, yeah, okay, so the movie, yeah, like I said, the movie, in all honesty, I don't think that shit's coming out, like I said. I think they're just gonna make it a tax write-off, and then again, too, you could say, like, oh, well, maybe, like, it, because at one point, literally, a friend of mine actually knew some shit about that, and he told me, like, hey, dude, like, this shit's having a lot of problems, and overall, I don't think it's gonna be coming out. And then again, too, he wasn't like an insider or like he worked on the film or anything, but specifically whenever it came to like them out, like Ubisoft actually like sourcing out a trailer and everything, which, yeah, they were trying to. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, they were trying to put out a trailer.
That takes some money though, and marketing.
Yeah, it takes money for marketing and maybe some time too. Maybe they are still working. I don't know, but I think it would just be so much more easier for Ubisoft, and Ubisoft, I know for a fact, knows this too, that if they just literally make this movie a tax write-off, it would save them so much money. Because not only are game movies a hit or miss, and
if they do that, I hope somebody leaks the movie at least.
Which, by the way, I'm crazy for saying this, but Return to Silent Hill, I kind of do fuck with. And honestly, I'm just kind of glad it exists. I know like that movie's like can be considered absolute dog shit, Even if it's dog shit, it's my piece of dog shit. But either way, it's not making a whole lot of money, which Ubisoft prioritizes right now. Like literally money to them right now is their life support. Because not
You
only
suck at driving, by the way.
I'm not trying to drive
what I
good.
mean.
I'm just trying to look at the taillights reflecting on the
Yeah.
ground, because that's what this mod's supposed to do.
but
I hope
yeah,
you don't
not
drive
only
like that in real life.
I drive worse than that in real life.
Okay.
dude, the actual legal fines that you would have to pay would be
Oh,
fucking
I just
crazy.
crashed my game.